that train, the footage of her execution-style murder for no reason. These people don't need a reason. They have resentment in their heart. They hate white people because they're unsuccessful in life, but it's not because of them. They're unsuccessful in life because of white people, right? Well, you know what? I don't actually care what your reasons are. If you are a violent person who will kill somebody just for sitting there, not doing anything with you, or you'll kill someone like Austin Metcalf who simply asks you to leave because you're not supposed to be there and you're in someone else's seat, I don't want these people in the streets. We have to get serious with what we're going to do about this. People need to get angry about this sort of situation, and they need to start realizing this is happening, and they need to get more racist. Racism would save a lot of lives. If this girl was a little bit more racist, she may have not sat in... Sorry. If this girl was a little more racist, she might not have sat in front of a black guy with her back to a black guy. Girls may not date black guys. If they realize when they go into the court system, it's nothing but white women bringing before the judge.
Yeah, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Hakodash, double honors to our apostles and elders, her great millstone, peace and blessings to the world's hopefully elect. So this woman's name is Lily Gaddis. She popped up on the scene not that long ago. To me, or at least when she first came on the scene, I said, okay, that's just another bad actor. Because, you know, these people are set up. Candace Owens, she's set up. You know, she's even married to Amalekite Small Hat. Alex Jones, he's set up. He's married to an Amalekite Small Hat. You got to realize that, you know, Andrew Tate, a lot of these people are just controlled opposition. But, you know, what she's talking about that bus incident, right? Which I will say I've seen a clip of this guy breaking it down. That the bus thing, personally, I don't think is legit. Because of the simple fact, like he said, you know, first of all, there was no blood on the top of her seat. It's just blood magically on the bottom of her seat, and which they took a minute to really show all the footage, by the way. But there's blood on the bottom of the seat. Then all of a sudden, she's outside of the view of the camera, doing some small movement, and the next thing you know, blood just squirts out on the right. And you know, like he said, blood doesn't do that. So, you know, in the timing of it all is exactly what, you know, Trump needed, right? So, and then it's really because when you look at the past, right? When you look at the past, even with that fake ass so-called Trump assassination, they used that. You know what I'm saying? You know, the scripture tell you, 2 Thessalonians 2, that this devil uses by lying wonders and all deceivableness. So in a sense, I'm not fazed anymore. Now, as far as the Charlie Kirk situation, I pray that man's in the spirit world, right? I pray he's in the spirit world. Because here's what you realize, right? There are more people, because when I was just trying to find the footage of the shooting, there are more people who say that it's not real than are. Like that has been such an increase. All you see is hoax. I'm like, man, I want to see the shooting, you know, because I believe, I'm like, that look real, but you got more people saying that it's not. And in general, right? So what that showed me was that, simply put, people just don't believe anymore. They don't believe it, right? They don't believe it. It could be real, but most people will still say they don't believe it. Why? Because Esau's power is, he's losing his power. He's losing his strength, which is to deceive. If you go any other place other than YouTube, you're going to see a lot of videos of people saying that this stuff isn't real. Now, as far as the shooting goes with Charlie Kirk, I pray that you know, that man's in the spirit world, you know, that's what I pray. And I do believe Esau Edom, I do believe that he will take out his own. He will sacrifice or kill his own for an agenda. I do believe that, because like I said, the timing of it all, this gives Trump exactly what he needs to do what he wants. That's how at least I'll say I know that. Well, first of all, it all boils down to prophecy. Okay, the prophets already saw it. They wrote it down. The Lord already told us what's going to happen. He told us what's going to happen, and it's just a matter of getting to that point. And this is how we're getting to that point. This is how martial law and betraying one another, and this is how we're getting to that point. Because as the Hegelian dialect goes, right, which was established, right, the doctrine, I mean, the philosophy is to get a desired solution, you must create a problem. The desired solution is a police state, martial law. To bring in national troops and National Guard, there needs to be a reason. There needs to be justification for it. So they will create the problem to get to that point. And I do believe that they will kill one of their own to get to that point. I do believe that. You see, that whole fake ass assassination attempt on Trump was just to get people's emotions roused up. They tried to take him out, but they couldn't take him out. He's the savior. Come on. You realize people ain't buying that, right? But this is what they do. So I pray that guy Kirk is in the spirit world. 'Cause I don't like him, you know. I pray that all that actually happened. I don't care. Do I believe that Esau would do that to his own? Yes. But I pray that it did, right? Because fuck him. But as far as the bus, I don't believe that was legit. But nevertheless, right? Nevertheless, Esau Edom, I said all that to say Esau Edom understands that in order to get the desired outcome that he wants, if there's one thing he knows is that he can always play on the emotions of Jacob and Esau. That's what this whole kingdom, the end and the beginning is all about. Those two nations of people, Jacob and Esau. And they know, even back like with the whole George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter, all these things, they know that if they want to get something started or get something in uproar, use Jacob and Esau. And in this case, they used Jake to portray him as a violent criminal, and he attacked a poor old innocent Edomite. This is the things that they will do. These are the things that they will use. These are the things that they will put on the headlines, right? And the scriptures tell you, bottom line, right? Bottom line. Even though, like I said, this woman, I think she's a bad actor. I think she has a script, but nevertheless, let's say everything she's saying, she's legit about what she's saying, right? Legit about what she's saying. Okay. And you got other people making TikToks and trying to make this Jake on. They even trying to use the Charlie Kirk situation to make that on Jacob and Esau. I don't know how, but this is what they're going to use, right? Oh, he deserved to go, this, that, and that, and, black and white, etc. So-called black, so-called white. But the bottom line is, here's the bottom line, okay? Jacob and Esau were never meant to get along. It was never meant to happen. So and this kingdom proves that no matter how late in the game, no matter what, Jacob and Esau was never meant to get along, period. Because you're going to have some Edomites who are going to be genuinely roused up and they're going to be mad at Jake. And you're going to have some Jakes that's going to rejoice over anything happening to these Edomites. And, they can go on a job and all it takes is to get into a political conversation and then they'll be at arms with one another, which is the ultimate goal for the wicked elite, right? They want that way, but that just shows you how easily it can happen. For all you know, most people, when they went on a job, they just didn't address the news, or we ain't going to address the news. Why? Because you say the wrong thing, you might upset the next person. And that's what this is. This is the whole point. The whole point of the matter is that it all boils down to these two nations, Jacob and Esau, which were never meant to get along in general, period. Okay. Genesis 25:19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, of Padanaram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord Yahweh for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord Yahweh. And the Lord Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. You understand? Jacob and Esau were struggling in the womb, meaning we weren't meant to get along. Okay? We're going to be separated. No matter, it's like water and oil. No matter how much you shake the bottle, it's a temporary mix, but when you let it settle, naturally they're going to separate. It's the chemical makeup of it. No, you can shake the bottle all you want. It will never force them together, and that little mixture is only temporary until they settle and then they separate. That's how the Lord made Jacob and Esau. And he said that the end of the world, because I'm going to let this woman keep talking, the end of the world is going to come by these 2 nations. So this is 2 Ezra 6:7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, From Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Right, I guess I should have kept reading that, but he says, For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, which is symbolic, right? Because Esau came out first, and we just read that the elder shall serve the younger. And Jacob's hand held the heel of Esau, which is symbolic that Jacob would ultimately pull Esau out of his kingdom from the heel, from beneath, which is what Jacob means. That means to supplant, it means to pull from the heel. And he did that by way of his blessing that Edom sold to Jacob. And he's actually going to physically do that. And mind you, Ezra was in the captivity of, I have to double check, but I believe he was in the Persian captivity because they went to build a temple. It was under Cyrus. Yeah, it was under Cyrus. So being into that captivity, he asked, Lord, when is the kingdom coming? When is all this going to be at the end? And he said, Esau's going to be the end. And Esau wasn't in power then. You see? So even the Lord told him, and Ezra was approximately 500 years before the Lord, right? 500 BC. So he told him Esau is going to be the end. So back in Genesis 25, verse 24, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Then the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Right? This was the first so-called white man being born. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. That's what the word in the Hebrew, Jacob, Yaquab, which means to supplant, from the heel. That's where he got the name from. It's all symbolic. And the Lord just confirmed that with Ezra's, as he said again in 2 Ezra 6:9 for 8. And he said to me, From Abraham to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau was born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. Another question Ezra asked out not. So it all boils down to those 2 nations. Okay. And this thing that Esau is doing, he's losing his kingdom, so he's trying to slander his brother Jacob on his way down. His kingdom is falling, and he's trying to blame Jacob. That's what he's doing. He wants to blame the Israelites, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, for the reason that their kingdom is falling, right? He's worked effortlessly around the clock to manufacture fake data, fake research, fake information, anything to label Israel, Jacob, as a monster, as savages to the whole world. I mean, from the Native American Indians, which are the Gadites, who couldn't treat them any better when they welcomed them over here, right? And showed them how to live and survive, because without their help, they wouldn't have survived. But yet this man who killed them, okay, he took their kindness, and it's written The devil Christopher Colon wrote to the Queen of Spain and said, these people are very nice, right? He said they will make perfect slaves. That's what he wrote. So his agenda in his heart was from the beginning was evil, but yet he's trying to flip the script and said the Indians, they were savages. You see, and they try to put it in books and they try to say that, oh, this was manifest destiny. We were supposed to take the land, and they're trying to convince the world these Israelites, these so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, they're a menace, they're violent, they're angry. He's been doing that since he came over here, right? So for hundreds of years, he's been trying to spin that narrative that Jacob is a problem and a menace. You see, and now that his kingdom is failing, he's trying to blame Jacob again, right? We'll just use Jacob. We'll just put the blame on him. He's the problem. He's the reason our society's failing. He's the menace. Oh, he's a failure.
Judge the brown and black perps who have battered them, abused them. They're trying to get restraining orders out against them. And those are the lucky ones, believe it or not. Those aren't the ones that were murdered by these people. So we need to get tough with ourselves and realize that this is an actual problem and not care if they call you racist, because I would rather be called racist than dead. Okay? And what are we supposed to do about this problem? It's not good enough just to talk about it. The cops need to be cracking down on these people. It needs to be stop and frisk everywhere. We need profiling. We need a cop to see, you know what, that's a suspicious looking black person. I'm going to stop and frisk him. I'm going to see what he's up to. Yes, you are no longer allowed to walk while black. Yes, you are going to have the law looking down your back. Because I'm sorry, until you fix this in your community, it's not going to go away. And people will continue to look suspiciously.
Yeah, you see how these devils, speak. Oh, there's no safety on the streets unless the Israelites on the. But you don't talk about those school shootings that happen on a regular occurrence, right? Shootings in churches, people going to their safe haven to pray, being attacked by these Edomites with these guns, recording it live. Why isn't that a discussion? You need to be stopping frisking Edomites. That's what you need, But this is what they do. Here it is, they're slandering, but they're trying to put themselves in the position that they're the holy, righteous, innocent people. Look, she got the cross on her shirt. She wearing white. She's trying to present herself as holy while slandering the brother, slandering Jacob. You see what they do? This is how these devils get down. That's why it says the accuser of thy brethren. But this is all they do, slander, That's what the devil does. The devil tries to put himself in a holy position while slandering the true holy ones and calling them evil. The devil. Psalms 50:16. But unto the wicked Yahweh said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? They love walking around with those crosses, talking about some Jesus, but the scriptures clearly tell you that the men in the ancient were all men of color. Moses was a so-called black man. All right, so was Jacob, so was Adam. Of the dust of the ground, of different shades of brown. That includes Eve. So where do you fit in? We just read where you came in. You were Esau, Edom. Your dwelling places was Mount Seir, the Dan, and I believe it's the Dan, and Teman, and the caves. Okay, it said, the scripture said, it says two manner of people. We two different people, man. Our the way we move, the way we talk, the way we flow, our music, our way of speaking is different from yours. Yours is base. Yours is abominable. Okay, you Edomite women don't even like to be clean. Okay, it was Israelites, especially so-called black people, that taught you how to clean yourself, how to bathe yourself. Because naturally, you all don't like washing your hands. You don't like showering. Only people on the internet talking about they hate showering and they just let the shampoo run down their back and they lick dogs and they let dogs lick them and they mouth tongue kissing the dogs and the wolves and having sex with the animals. That's your history. That all comes out of the Edomites. Okay, you so-called white people. That's where all that comes out of. That's you. All right. And your men are homosexuals. You like to cross dress. You like to wear their wives' clothing behind closed doors. Even our sense of humor is different. Everybody knows that. Well, they'll say things like, "Oh, black people don't have a sense of humor." No, our sense of humor, we just ain't with that faggot shit like you Edomites are. You're not funny. Okay, you can't dance. You suck at sports. What exactly are you known for? And that's why deep down you know that there's nothing to rejoice in except the fact that you guys are cold-blooded murderers. So you're trying to put yourself in the holy people's position while slandering the Lord's chosen people. You don't even like the laws of the Heavenly Father. You know? Verse 17, it says, "Since thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee, when thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him. Thou hast been a partaker with the adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son." Yeah, you just only focused on Jacob, slandering Jacob. Blame him. He's the reason for fault for every damn thing. You know? These people have been trying to destroy us since they had us in slavery. And you know, like the brother in the camp, Izar, he like to say, it's a catch-22 because you're in a lose-lose. A catch-22 is a situation where you can't win, you see? And that's how these Edomites are, because look at what she's about to say.
At you. Like this girl should have done. Not that I'm blaming her at all. My point being, if we had a little bit more racial consciousness and we realized, maybe don't put yourself anywhere in the vicinity of a black person. Better yet, why don't black people have their own spaces? Yeah, I said it. They've been calling it for years. Black people have been calling it for years. They've been saying, you know what, we want black-only spaces where whitey can't be there. Go for it. Go for it, please. That's what...
You see? You giving it, you do exactly like she even said it. They've been calling. Yeah, our people have been calling it since the 40s, man. Why wasn't that an option? Even Muhammad Ali, he was on camera. He's like, why can't y'all how about you just leave me alone? How about that? And they know why. Okay, when back during that time when we were segregated, we were actually better off. They initiated integration, which means to conform to one, right? Integration, right? And assimilation. They did that for control. Why? Because other than the fact that everybody knows that Esau, Edom's deepest fear, their greatest fear, which will soon come to reality under our Lord Yahushua, their greatest fear is that they're going to get done to them what they did to us. That's their greatest fear. That is why they've been working around the clock to try to destroy us. Just like Pharaoh did. Pharaoh, it said what? The more they oppress. Out of fear, right? Exodus 1. Verse 8, and there rose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, so get them up out of the land. So when they looked upon us, just like you Edomites look upon us, you see the power, you see the glory of the Lord, you see our people as special. You see that there's something different about us, and that drives you with fear, even though you're in a power position. So you say, look, we have to deal wisely with them. Okay. And what did they try to do here? It says, therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasured cities, Pithom and Ramas. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. Yeah, see, that's like the brothers say, that's a catch-22. You're in a lose-lose situation. The Lord put he put in Israel an inherent defense mechanism, which is the more oppressed and down we are, the more we multiply. And that's when we're at our lowest estate. Imagine when we're at our peak. You can't defeat the enemy by means of trying. You can't defeat an enemy like that. Okay, we're just gonna oppress him and we'll tell you, we'll kill him, man. We'll kill him. Guess what? That never stopped anything. Hey, you're well, let me keep reading. But it says, "And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor, and made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor." And for the record, for you people out there, the real Jews are the Negroes, the same black people you're trying to accuse, the real biblical Jews. Okay? And and the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife of the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then you shall live. So he tried to destroy us that way, just like you Edomites did when it came to what? The abortion clinics, which was founded by Margaret Sanger, which was an attack to destroy who? Our people. But guess what? It didn't work. See, you going through all these lengths to destroy us, but notice it was never an option for us to be left alone. No, they couldn't do it. That's why they did integration, which means to control. You come to us as control. But notice the option of being by ourselves and left alone, that was never an option. Why is that? Because they're afraid. They're afraid. You ain't gonna do nothing but make our people rejoice if you go around saying, I think they need their own spaces. Let's get them out of here. We want to be separate. Our people was, hey, where do we sign up? Where do we sign up? That's exactly what our people would do. Okay? Our people will want nothing better than to live and to be away from you, you Edomites. It's a curse. It's a curse. Well, look, here's what she's gonna say.
To do. We have to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to live in areas that are free of you. So I think it's time for not only law enforcement to do their jobs, but we got to seriously think about trying to lobby politicians to help us get these people in places where they are away from us, because we don't want to be around them. I don't want to ride public transport with a black person there who could go off and kill me for no reason. This is not right. It's not right in our country that we have to live this way. We need to get...
And neither do we. We don't want to ride the bus. We don't with you. We don't want to work with you. We don't want to live. We don't. We don't. Our people since the 50s have been trying to get away, and say, hey, listen, you guys don't like us. Okay, how about this? You did us wrong. Do us a solid. Just let us alone. Oh, that's right. Just like with Black Wall Street and Rosewood, what happened there? What happened there? That's right. You out of envy and wrath, you destroyed those cities out of envy and wrath, and you had no arrest to this day. But you want to talk about they need their own space and they need to be by themselves. You see how they're in a lose-lose situation? Their kingdom is going down, so they're trying to slander their brother. And then they want to sit on this high holy seat. Oh, I just think we don't need to be around them. You're still going to lose. Your own people know. How come Trump never offered that? How come nobody ever offered to say, how about we just let them go? You would never, just like Pharaoh. Moses said, let my people go. Pharaoh said no. The Lord hardened his heart, just like he hardened you Edomite's heart. But you know your fear. You're going to kill me with that. If we need to be separate, like this hurting you. Look, you're doing us a favor. Good. But the history already showed what you would do when our people are left to themselves. You're going to come and drop a bomb. You're going to come and slay. Why? Because your only options, because you're in a lose-lose situation, is we just got to stay on top of them. And while we're on top of them, let's just try to kill them. Let's try to destroy them. You would go to lengths like that instead of going to lengths to say, how about we just get rid of them? We don't need them, right? You clearly don't need Negroes, Latinos, and Americans, right? Why don't we just try to get them their own spaces or whatever and let us be ourselves? Because your entire kingdom is based and built off the backs of our people. Everything you have, your creations, from the street light to the internet to the computer to your security system, all that stems from Jake. Our people invented that, not you. Not you. Okay. The first motor vehicle was created by a Jake. There's a Tom Ford. He's just known for mass production, but the engineer was our people. Your lubrication system for the trains, it was our people that came up with that. All right. The filament for the light bulb, that was an innovation, but he made it last longer. So he built upon it. So imagine if we were by ourselves, and you Edomites know this, but you want to sit up here in this position like, oh, if we could just be separate from them, we'll be better off. Man, don't get us excited to talk about being by ourselves. But we know, it's all according to prophecy. But you want to talk that like that's a bad thing? Bro, do you know our people will sign up quick? Okay, our people will sign up quick. These Edomites, they're in a lose-lose situation. So this is why all they can do is sit up here and slander. That's all they can do. But it all boils down to these two nations, right? These two nations. And here's why they're losing. Because if you read Habakkuk 2, verse 15, it says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that puttest thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. You know what that means? You're craftily, you're using the position and using your devices to craftily cause your neighbor to fall, only to then try to show the world, look at them. So you put our people in these horrible situations. You try to kill us. You weaponize the black woman over the man. You do all these things intentionally, target our neighborhoods intentionally to keep our people down. And then when by process of just, living in poverty, because poverty breeds crime. And then when something happens or crime happens or somebody steals, you want to shine the light on it, like, oh, look at these people. But you're not going to fool the Lord. You see, verse 16, it says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. You see, no matter how much you try to spin this, how superior you are, shameful spewing shall be on your glory. The whole world will acknowledge your crimes against your brother Jacob. It all boils down to Jacob and Esau. At the end of the day, the whole world is witnessing what? The oppression on Jacob done by Esau Edom. And the whole world will condemn you because of what you did to your brother Jacob. To this day still. And since you're being uncovered, you're going down. So you're just trying to blame Jacob, blame your brother, right? Which were not brothers because you broke the covenant. But this is what you're trying to do. Your society is failing because of Jacob. That's what they want to tell the people. That's what they're trying to convince the world, right? They have to be dealt with. It's all their fault. Always try to find a way to blame Jacob, no matter what. There's a video, you can catch it on YouTube, but there's this video of this Edomite woman who got mugged, beat up, got her ass kicked and jumped by a couple of Edomites. But she told the cops that it was Jake, the black man did it. And then after they investigated, they said, bitch, you lying. And they're like, here it is, you got your ass beat, black eye and everything. And you used that, and instead of getting justice, you told them that they were black man that did it. That's hatred. Okay? That's hatred. Right? So instead of you trying to get justice for your own people who did that to you, you're going to put the blame on Jake and hope that the cops go and pick up some innocent Jakes. These are the things you're known for doing. These are the things that you're responsible for. Come on, man. Even with what Emmett Till found out years later, right? He didn't do anything. He didn't do any crime. So the whole world is saying the things that you would do to label your brother Jacob as violent or as dangerous, to justify your hatred for him or against him. But that's why the Lord said in the book of Obadiah, this is all going to be on you. Blood is on you. The highlight's going to be on you. Your hatred, your envy, your jealousy to your brother Jacob, that you are going to blame the downfall of your own kingdom on the Israelites. Oh, those Mexicans, those immigrants, they're the problem. But you got your own people, your own farmers saying, how do you expect me to run my land now that you got rid of all my workers? These people here, I don't have any problem with them. They're hardworking, right? They love coming in and they're keeping the economy going. And you just took my workers from me. Who else is going to do the job? You got your own people pleading and saying, we need Jacob, basically. That's what they're saying. We need Jacob. We need the northern kingdom, so-called Mexicans and Hondurans, etc. We need them. But these men want to sit up here and say, no, we don't need them. They're a problem. Get rid of them, right? And then next thing you know, you can't get no work done. Your economy fails. You need Jacob. Jacob, the scripture says Jacob, wherever Jacob is, that land will be blessed. Even when we're oppressed. You know, this whole society, you need Jacob. That's why they're in the catch-22. Well, I can't stand them, but we can't get rid of them, because if we do, we're going to, not only are we going to tank, but they're going to thrive. They're going to flourish. But now their economy, now everything's going south. Well, it's all his fault. You see? That's why the Lord got to judge this fucking devil, man. I'm going to get this fucking devil, man. No accountability, just like Cain. Revelation verse 11. Okay, I'm sorry. Revelation 12:10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Lord. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before Yahweh day and night. Who is that? That's Esau, Edom, accusing what is slandering his brother before the Lord, putting a bottle to him, putting pork in our, in our foods and the commercials, forcing us to eat it in slavery. Our people making that a delicacy. You stealing our heritage, that the real Jews and Negroes, you stealing that, giving them slave Bibles to read, taking out the books because you don't want them to read. Why would you, why don't you want them to learn how to read? Why didn't you want them to learn how to write? Because you're afraid of their power. You're afraid that they will read the scriptures, call upon our Lord and be delivered, because you read the scriptures and you know that the real Jews are Negroes. Doing all these things, right? And then while you causing our people to sin and to commit adultery and sodomy, look, Lord, look at your people. Look at them. Look, they're sinning. So now you got to do away with them. Okay. We're going to insert ourselves in the land. Now you got to deal with us. Your people going off. They're sinning, accusing us day and night. That's these damn Edomites. You see, but all this is it just shows how desperate they are. Okay. Because they're all you're in a catch-22 situation where you're in a lose-lose. All right. You're going down. There's nothing you could do about it. But we know, according to prophecy, since he is going down, he's going to do one thing: resort to violence against his brother Jacob, slander his brother Jacob. He's going to come upon the whole world with wrath, but in particular, especially Jacob, because he knows that we got next. I definitely want to end it off on that. You Edomites are pathetic. Ain't nobody moved by the little things you saying. You in a place of you in a seat of desperation because you're going down. And then you're gonna say things that look, don't get us excited. We need our own spaces. Let them have it. Let them woman, our people have asked for that for years. You ain't gonna do it. Okay? It was never an option. No, we just integration. But our people back then, they were saying, leave us alone, let us be on our own. Why is it such a bother? Esau Edom said, no, we can't allow that. You see, you see my man, what's my man name? You know, this building, that machine to turn plastic into diesel gas, and y'all trying to take him out. Yeah, that's just one Jake. That's just one Jake. You know? You know what we're capable of. It's over for you Edomites, man. We just gotta endure your racist slandering bullshit, your psyops, you know, your psychological operations, trying really hard to portray us as violent people, you know, with your sloppy, what do you call it? Your sloppy psyops. Pathetic. Second Ezra chapter 2, verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee. I'll start at 27. It says, be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh. These Edomites envy Jake because their time is up, but they can't do anything. But so the only thing they're going to do is try to slander and kill. It's over with for these people, man. You Edomites are done, man. Shalom.